From the newsroom of Impact Alpha, I'm David Bank, and this is your Impact Briefing for Friday, August 27th. I'm filling in for our co-hosts, Monique Aiken and Brian Walsh, who are on a brief summer break. Today, I'm joined by Impact Alpha's Roodgally Senatus for a look at the response to that other international humanitarian crisis, the earthquake in Haiti. Hey, Rudy.
Hey, David. Thanks for having me.
And we'll hear from Sakena Yacoobi, the founder of the Afghan Institute of Learning and this week's Agent of Impact. But first, here's what you need to know from the week in impact investing. There's a talent grab on for climate scientists from climate funds. Generation has one, so do Breakthrough Energy and Lower Carbon Capital. BlackRock hired a carbon scientist in May. As new climate tech funds raise billions, Amy Cortese says investors should demand, show me your scientists. Among the big climate raises this week, Form Energy brought in $240 million for its long-duration batteries. Investors in Gresham House's $175 million forest fund in the UK will get repaid in carbon credits. And Apollo put $150 million into FlexGen, which helps manage the increasing flow of renewable energy on electric grids. Decentralized finance could disrupt the entertainment industry in a good way. New tech platforms are helping creators bypass the gatekeepers and build their art into a viable business. Artists are startups, says the head of Earbutter in Los Angeles. They're using blockchain to help musicians secure their finances and their intellectual property. And the costs of mass incarceration are becoming clear. On the Reconstruction podcast this week, Deanna Hoskins told Monique Aiken about the immense loss of talent from formerly incarcerated people. And Adesina Social Capital released a database of companies that exacerbate injustice by investing in private prison bonds, for example. Impact Alpha subscribers got these stories and more in The Brief each morning this week. Welcome, Rudy, back to the podcast. You and I worked on a story this week for Impact Alpha on the rebuilding and the recovery and the relief efforts in Haiti after the earthquake a couple weeks ago. This one was really pretty personal for you, yes?
Yeah, this story was very personal for me, David. I mean, I was born in Haiti, and I came here in November 2009, just 2 months before the 2010 earthquake that devastated the capital, Port-au-Prince. And, this time it's in the southwest, a few miles west of Port-au-Prince, where I have some distant family members, and I've been checking in with my grandmother, who's been keeping up with them, and they're doing fine.
I hope everybody's safe, but the devastation is pretty widespread, and the earthquake was even bigger than the 2010 earthquake.
Yeah. I mean, back in the 2010 earthquake, a lot of people died, and this time, the reports are saying that the numbers are in the 2000s, but a survey that's in the story we did this week shows that it could be worse.
The headline of the story you wrote, Rudy, was Can Investors Help Haiti Build Back Better This Time? I mean, the 2010 recovery was fairly well botched, actually. And I know even a month before the earthquake, the president of Haiti was assassinated, and the country was already in something of a crisis before the earthquake. So what are you seeing, that could be, kind of green shoots of possibility for the recovery?
Yeah, the 2010 earthquake, response was a disaster, and Haiti is still recovering from that, David. But I think what we're seeing now that could be different and impactful is the social enterprises that are responding to this earthquake and are doing the work down there in Haiti, and are deploying resources and their staff and employees to go out and help the Haitian people.
One of the things that was kind of interesting to me, and maybe you can shed some light on it, is that this gang leader of I guess an alliance of gangs, and his code name or his street name is Barbecue, and he agreed or announced that the gangs had created an alliance and a truce and would help in the relief distribution. So the gangs are turning out to be almost a kind of grassroots distribution channel. Is that how should we think about that?
Yeah, I mean, ever since I was little, growing up in Haiti, the gangs have always been popular. I think back in 2009, just before I left, there were two gangs that were very popular called Rock Fam and Barricade Crew. And so, these gangs, those are people that grew up in the same communities as these people, and are actually doing real work and helping the kids and helping them get to school and so I think this is pretty amazing that they're actually working with the response teams that are going to the area that's most affected by this earthquake. I think that's going to make a big difference in how this recovery goes.
Well, it's interesting. We highlighted a couple of interesting things about Haiti. I mean, another fact is that it's one of the countries that gets the most, and certainly the most as a percentage, I think, of its GDP remittances from abroad. You've got, as you said, this kind of almost grassroots, gang kind of parallel government in a sense, possibly, or parallel power structure at the least. And then we also highlighted the social enterprises, many of which actually popped up in response in part to the 2010 earthquake. And so they're building, resilient buildings that can withstand both earthquakes, but also hurricanes, as you know. And then there's others that are doing water delivery, and then Partners in Health. Many people know Dr. Paul Farmer has been in Haiti for a long time, and they've built a sort of, again, a parallel health system with hospitals that, again, many of which are sort of legacies, good legacies of 2010 you think these social enterprises now can sort of, show their stuff and play a role in the recovery?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, a really big key is going to be gaining the trust of the people in these communities because, when, Haitians, when we think about foreign aid, that's always been a disaster. And so there's this lack of trust between the people and, foreign troops and even the government too. So I think, a really big part of the response is going to be gaining these people's trust. Haitians are very prideful. They're not just going to, accept help immediately, even though they're going through this disastrous event. And so a big part of it is going to, for these social enterprises, is going to be working in these communities to show the people that they're here to actually help and not, how do I say this? Not come to Haiti and these communities to extract, resources like in many situations before.
Extractive indeed, as Haiti well knows over the years. So it's interesting. Non-extractive building trust, I think, is good. Then there is this decentralized and almost bottom-up grassroots kind of cast to it. I wonder whether there's even a playbook. I mean, these disasters in countries all over the world are not, you think of them as sort of some kind of a surprise or unexpected event, but they're so regular around the world that kind of a playbook for a kind of more resilient disaster response might be something that agents of impact, if you will, would should get behind. Well, thank you, Rudy, for joining us. Our regards and best wishes for all of your family and friends in Haiti, and thanks for your work.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Finally, this week's Agent of Impact, Sakena Yacoobi, CEO of the Afghan Institute of Learning, which operates health and education centers for girls and boys in Afghanistan. Sakena has been a rare public voice for Afghans this week, particularly women and children. For now, it seems her centers are open and her staff is safe. In a letter this week, she said women and girls are, quote, here, waiting, and willing to help. A decade from now, Yacoobi hopes Afghans will look back at a time they came together. Quote, we put down the guns, we turned away from war, and we gave the children books. That we took this moment in time and created something far bigger than a shattered nation. Here's Sakena from a 2015 TED Talk titled, How I Stopped the Taliban from Shutting Down My School.
And I told myself, this is it. This time, we are always going to be killed. There's no doubt in my mind. But still, the moment comes and you take strength from whatever you believe and whatever you do. And I asked them, what can I do for you? You know what they said to me? They said, we know who you are. We know where are you going. Every day you go up north, here and there. You train women, you teach them, and also you give them opportunity to have job. You build their skill. How about us?
And that's going to do it for your Impact Briefing this week. More all day at impactalpha.com. Subscribe to get full access to the site and the daily brief. Podcast listeners get $100 off their first year subscription. go to impactalpha.com/subscribe and use the code BRIEFING100. Thank you for listening, and thanks to our producer, Isaac Silk. I'm David Bank, editor and CEO of Impact Alpha, investment news for a sustainable edge. Until next time.